Hello crochet friends, welcome to Crazy Cool Crochet. This is Sylvia, and in this project we are going to work up this gorgeous, super textured crochet pillow cover, and this is using the braided granny stitch, and I learned this stitch from Knotty Crochet. This uses a number 4 yarn. You will also need scissors, a yarn needle, and the hook I'm using is an H or a 5mm. Now do take care to change out the hook size if you need to, depending on the thickness of your yarn. For the 18 by 18 pillow, which is the typical size for a decorative pillow, we will start with a chain of 50. And this uses a multiple of 3 plus 2. So if you need to make adjustments for your pillow size, just make sure that you're using that multiple of 3. So you will work 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 chains, and then when you get to the width that you need, add 2 more chains at the end. Now after your chain is completed, we are going to work 1 row of single crochet, which I've done here. You will start that with at the second chain from the hook. Enter 1 single crochet on each chain. When you get to the end, you should have 49 single crochets. Now let me stop here and explain. The thickness of your yarn will make a huge difference in how this will fit on your particular pillow insert. This yarn happens to be a very thick number 4. So the chain of 50 worked for my 18 by 18 pillow. If you are going to use a slightly thinner number 4 yarn, then you might need a chain that is a little bit longer. So make sure you are adjusting for the thickness of your yarn. At the end of that row of single crochets, you will chain 2 and turn. Now in the very first space, right under that turning chain, you are going to work 2 double crochets. Then you will skip the next 2 stitches and work 3 double crochets in the next stitch. And then you will repeat that across the row. So skip 2 stitches, in the next one do 3 double crochets in the same stitch. So work that all the way to the end. At the end of that row, you will have entered your last 3 double crochets into the very last chain, or the very last stitch. So you would have had 3 stitches left over. When you do this cluster here, you would skip 2, and into the last stitch you enter your last 3 double crochet. Chain 1 and turn. Now we will work a row of single crochet in each stitch. We will skip that very first one under the chain, the turning chain. So just work a regular single crochet in every stitch to the end. After you've entered your last single crochet, chain 2 and turn. Now we will be working a front post double crochet. If you've never done that before, don't worry, it's pretty easy. So you've got your 3 posts right there. We are working around the center post. So yarn over for a double crochet, insert your hook behind that center post and bring it back to the front. Grab your yarn, 3 loops on the hook, and complete your double crochet. That's it. That's a front post double crochet. Isn't that pretty? Now we're going to work 2 more around that same post. 2 more front post double crochet. Grab your yarn, go around the back to the front, grab your yarn, 3 loops on the hook, complete your double crochet. And that is your braided granny stitch. Now we will be doing that into each of the clusters below. So you will work 3 front post double crochet around the center post of each cluster. Grab your yarn, go behind that center post, grab your yarn, pull it up, 3 loops on the hook, complete your double crochet. 2 more in the same post. Now number 3, around the same post. There you go. Repeat that across the row. You're working around that center post. After that last cluster, we are going to enter a single crochet into that turning chain below. And then chain 1 and turn. Now we are going to repeat the row of single crochets. So remember, you skip the first one under the turning chain and you start into the next stitch. So just go ahead and work that row of single crochet all the way to the end. When you get to the end of the row, make sure that you are counting your stitches, because it's going to look like you're supposed to enter 1 more single crochet here at the end. So keep in mind, you will end up with 1 more single crochet than you had on the previous single crochet rows, because remember, we entered that extra single crochet at the end of the row. Where were we? So this is going to look a little bit wonky when you get to the end of this row. Don't worry about it. Trust the pattern. Chain 2 and turn. And now repeat your row of the braided granny stitch. So remember, you're working into the center post. You're going to work your 3 front post double crochet around each center post. And then when you get to the end, just remember to add your single crochet at that turning chain and then repeat the pattern. So just remember, you are alternating rows of the braided granny stitch and a row of single crochet, a row of the granny stitch, a row of single crochet. Now for the front panel, you want to end with a single crochet row. And then for the count, how many rows I used, I counted from the back side. This is the front. And it's much easier to count the single crochet rows in the back. So starting with that first single crochet row, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a total of 29 single crochet rows. And that includes that last row of single crochets. Now for the back panel, I decided to keep it nice and easy. So I'm just doing a back panel of all double crochets. So I started with the same chain number, foundation chain, as for the front row. Then in the second chain from the hook, I worked the first double crochet and then a double crochet in each chain across. At the end of that first row of double crochet, you will chain 2 and turn. And as before, you will skip that very first space under the turning chain and start your double crochets under the next stitch. Now take care that you are working under the 2 strands that make up that chain at the top. Do not work into the spaces between the double crochet posts. Okay, go under the 2 strands. And continue across the row. When you get to the end, you will enter your very last double crochet into the turning chain. So just keep count of your stitches and you'll be fine. For the back panel, I used or made 27 rows of the double crochet. Now, your count might differ depending on the thickness of the yarn. So again, I used a thicker yarn here and I needed 27 rows. To attach the panels, you want right sides together. Right sides are touching each other. Wrong side is up facing you. Now you can do this however you like. I am going to seam around the edges and leave the bottom open to insert the pillow. And make sure you've got your yarn needle with a length of yarn. Insert the hook into the cornermost stitches of each panel, going under 2 strands of yarn. I like to tie. Now I'm going to use a whip stitch, which just means you're going around and around. Okay, so go under the 2 strands. Got to get those tails out of the way. And that's it. So just keep going all the way down the edge, around the top, around the other edge. Then we'll insert the pillow and close off the top. When you are ready to do the last seam, the opening, turn your pillowcase right side out and insert your pillow. And then just continue seaming exactly the same way. It's perfectly okay that you have this right side out because it's just going to blend right in, as you can see here. So just continue that, and that's it. You will be done.